Ever wondered how a highly educated person can lack the basic essence of common sense? Now isn't that a thought that tickles your neurons? An age-old paradox that has puzzled many. High education and lack of common sense. A conundrum, a riddle wrapped in a mystery inside an enigma. Are you intrigued? Let's unpack this, shall we? Common sense. You've heard the term, right? It's the ability to make sound judgments on simple matters. It's the innate wisdom that tells you not to touch a hot stove, or to look both ways before crossing a road. Common sense is the simple yet profound understanding of the world around us. It's the basic survival kit that nature has graciously bestowed upon us. Now let's juxtapose this with education. Education is the systematic imparting and acquiring of knowledge, primarily through teaching, research, and study. It's a process, a journey if you will, that equips us with facts, theories, and principles. It's the key that unlocks the door to the world of intellectual enlightenment. But here's the catch. While education is a measure of one's knowledge, common sense is a measure of one's wisdom. And these two, my friends, are not always found in the same package. You see, education can teach us about quantum physics, the intricate workings of the human brain, the complexities of global economics. But it cannot teach us how to not lose our car keys, or how to not forget our anniversary, or why it's a bad idea to microwave a metal spoon. These are the domains of common sense. In essence, education and common sense are two different sides of the human understanding coin. One is about learning from books and the other is about learning from life. And while one can exist without the other, the true beauty lies in their coexistence. So with that in mind, let's delve into some real-life examples that illustrate this paradox. Stay tuned and prepare yourself for a journey into the fascinating world of the educated, yet common sense deprived. Have you heard about the professor who forgot where he parked his car in the university lot? Now this wasn't just any professor. He was a celebrated academic, known far and wide for his groundbreaking research in quantum physics. He could explain the intricacies of string theory with an ease that left his peers spellbound, yet he often found himself wandering aimlessly in the university parking lot, scratching his head, unable to remember where he had parked his car. It was a bizarre sight, really. The man who could calculate the trajectory of celestial bodies was stumped by the simple task of locating his four-wheeled vehicle amidst a sea of cars. It was like watching a chess grandmaster struggle with a jigsaw puzzle meant for toddlers. And it wasn't just the parking lot saga. There was the time when he misplaced his glasses while they were perched right atop his head, or the time when he poured coffee into his cereal bowl, leaving the spectators in the faculty lounge both amused and bewildered. His absent-mindedness was legendary, a source of endless campus tales, yet it was also a stark reminder of the paradox of education and common sense. You see, despite his staggering intellect, our professor lacked a basic level of common sense. His brain was a repository of complex equations and theories, yet it faltered when it came to everyday tasks. It's as if his mind was so preoccupied with the mysteries of the universe that it had little room left for mundane matters like remembering the location of his car, or distinguishing between a coffee mug and a cereal bowl. This goes to show that education and common sense don't always go hand in hand. They are like two sides of a coin, each with its own distinct value. And while our professor might have been a master of one, he was a novice in the other. Quite a curious case, isn't it? But wait, we have more. Now imagine a tech genius who can't figure out how to use a map. Let's paint a picture of our friend, we'll call him Ethan. Ethan's the kind of guy who can code complex algorithms before breakfast, troubleshoot a server issue in his sleep, and build a supercomputer from scratch. But hand him a simple map or drop him into a subway station, and he's as lost as a goldfish in the Sahara. You see, Ethan's brain is chock full of specialized knowledge, the kind that's won him countless hackathons and made him a hot commodity in Silicon Valley. But when it comes to common everyday tasks like navigating through a city or catching the right bus, well, let's just say Ethan's GPS is a little off. Now, you might be wondering, how can a tech whiz like Ethan struggle with something as basic as reading a map? It's not that Ethan can't understand the concept of a map. Remember, this is a guy who can visualize complex data structures and solve intricate mathematical problems. It's just that his mind is so attuned to the digital realm, so steeped in the language of code, that he struggles with tasks that require a different kind of thinking. Navigating public transport, for instance, requires not just an understanding of routes and schedules, but also a knack for dealing with unpredictable variables, like rush hour crowds or unexpected delays. It's a skill that requires adaptability and a certain degree of street smarts. Two things that Ethan, for all his tech genius, lacks. The story of Ethan, our tech genius with no street smarts, serves as a stark reminder of the contrast between specialized knowledge and common sense. It's a testament to the fact that intelligence comes in many forms, and that being a whiz in one area doesn't necessarily make you a jack of all trades. So the next time you feel a little lost, whether you're trying to navigate a new city or decode the mysteries of your smartphone, remember Ethan? And take comfort in the fact that even the brightest minds can struggle with the simplest tasks. Who would have thought that a tech whiz could be so directionally challenged? But there's more. Picture a bibliophile who can discourse on any topic but can't make toast without burning it. Now, isn't that something? Imagine a person who can quote Shakespeare, explain quantum physics, or dissect the socio-economic implications of the French Revolution at the drop of a hat. Yet, when it comes to the simple task of making toast, they find themselves at a loss, with a kitchen full of smoke and a slice of bread charred beyond recognition. This is our bookworm, a paragon of academic brilliance but a disaster in the kitchen. They can navigate the intricate web of ancient Greek mythology or the labyrinthine passages of Proust's In Search of Lost Time. But when it comes to navigating the dials on a toaster, they're as lost as a mariner without a compass. In this, we see a striking divergence between academic prowess and practical common sense. Our bookworm, with their vast troves of knowledge, stands perplexed before the simple mechanics of a toaster. Their intelligence, honed by years of rigorous study, seems to falter when faced with the simple, everyday task of making toast. Why is this? Well, it brings us back to the paradox of education and common sense. While our bookworm has spent countless hours buried in books, they've neglected the practical skills of everyday life. The ability to make toast, after all, isn't something you can learn from a textbook or a scholarly article. It's a practical skill, learned through hands-on experience, trial and error. So, despite their extensive education and intellectual prowess, our bookworm finds themselves stumped by the seemingly simple task of making toast. Is it a failure of their education? Not quite. It's more of a testament to the fact that not all knowledge can be gleaned from books. Some things, like the art of making the perfect slice of toast, require a bit more hands-on learning and a dash of common sense. So, it seems books don't teach everything, do they? Let's wrap up our discussion. So, what do these stories tell us about education and common sense? Well, for starters, they bring us face to face with a paradox that's as old as education itself. It's a paradox that hints at a simple truth. Intelligence and wisdom are two different things. Let's recall the story of the absent-minded professor. An intellectual powerhouse, no doubt, but when it comes to everyday tasks, well, let's just say he might need a map to find his way out of a paper bag. This shows us that being a genius in a specific field doesn't necessarily mean you're a genius at life. Then we have the tech whiz, who can code like a wizard but can't tell his left from his right on a real street. This illustrates that while technology is a powerful tool, it doesn't replace the need for basic life skills. And who can forget our bookworm, who knows the ins and outs of every novel but can't make toast without setting off the smoke alarm. This highlights the importance of balancing theoretical knowledge with practical skills. These stories tell us that education and common sense, while both valuable, aren't interchangeable. A PhD might help you understand quantum physics, but it won't necessarily help you change a flat tire. A degree in literature might make you an expert in Shakespearean sonnets, but it won't necessarily help you navigate a crowded subway station during rush hour. In a humorous, slightly exaggerated way, these stories reinforce the idea that while education is essential, it doesn't guarantee common sense. They remind us that there's a need for balance between book smarts and street smarts, between the theoretical and the practical. In essence, education can provide us with knowledge, but it's common sense that helps us apply this knowledge effectively in our everyday lives. Remember, education may make you a scholar, but it's common sense that helps you navigate the world. Stay curious, stay sensible.